The Galactic Council had one unbreakable rule: never approach a Kravix juvenile. Their species, apex predators from the death world of Krell 9, were considered the most dangerous creatures in known space. Even their cubs could tear through reinforced steel with developing claws and possessed bite forces that exceeded most military-grade hydraulics. Dr. Scylla Chen had never been good at following rules. The research station on Nexus 7 hummed with the usual activities: xenobiologists cataloging specimens, diplomats negotiating trade agreements, and security personnel maintaining a nervous perimeter around the Kravix delegation quarters. Scylla walked past them all, carrying a portable medical kit and wearing nothing more protective than her standard-issue jumpsuit. "Dr. Chen, you can't go in there," the Zenthari guard hissed, his translator crackling with alarm. "The juvenile is in distress. The mother specifically requested isolation, which is exactly why I'm going in." Scylla replied calmly. "A child in pain is a child in pain, regardless of how many claws they have." She had studied the Kravix for 3 years. She knew their biochemistry, their social structures, and most importantly, she knew that beneath all that terrifying predatory evolution was a species that loved their young just as fiercely as humans did. The door slid open. Inside, the Kravix cub Kren huddled in the corner of the quarters, his obsidian scales slick with pain sweat. He was roughly the size of an earth lion, with 6 legs, a serpentine neck, and a jaw filled with crystalline teeth that could cut through durasteel. One of those teeth was broken at the root, and violet blood seeped from his gums. His mother, matriarch Vess, stood protectively nearby, her 12-foot frame coiled and ready. Her eyes, each the size of Scylla's fist, locked onto the human with predatory focus. "You should not be here, human," Vess growled, her voice resonating like grinding tectonic plates. "Your son is suffering," Scylla said simply, keeping her movements slow and deliberate. "I'm a xenodontist. I can help. Our physicians are en route. They will arrive in 4 cycles. That's 2 days. He'll be in agony until then." Scylla knelt slowly, making herself smaller, less threatening. "Please, let me try." Kren whimpered a sound that shouldn't have come from something so deadly, but did. It was the sound every parent in the universe recognized. Vess's massive head lowered slightly. "If you harm him, I won't." The matriarch stepped aside. Scylla approached Kren with the same care she would approach any frightened child. She didn't see claws or fangs. She saw pain, fear, and a juvenile creature who needed help. "Hey there, Kren," she whispered softly, opening her medical kit. "I know it hurts, but I'm going to make it better. Okay?" The cub's 3 eyes watched her warily, but he didn't strike. Perhaps it was her tone. Perhaps it was the absence of fear in her scent. Or perhaps, as some xenopsychologists theorized, young creatures across all species recognized gentleness. Scylla worked quickly. The broken tooth needed to be extracted. The fragment was infected and causing the pain. She administered a local anesthetic specifically formulated for Kravix biochemistry, waited for it to take effect, and then, with steady hands, began the extraction. Kren tensed but didn't move. His mother watched every microsecond, ready to intervene. The tooth fragment came free with a wet crack. Scylla cleaned the socket, applied a regenerative gel that would promote healing, and sealed it with a biomesh that would dissolve as new tissue grew. "All done," she said gently, sitting back. Kren blinked slowly. The pain was gone. He made a curious chirping sound and nudged his mother with his snout. Vess examined her son with expert precision, then turned her massive gaze to Scylla. "You have our gratitude, human. This is unexpected kindness. It's just what we do," Scylla replied with a tired smile. As she packed her kit, she felt something press into her palm. Kren had approached on silent pause and dropped something small into her hand, his broken tooth fragment. "Kren, no," Vess said sharply. "That is a gift," Scylla said, her voice catching slightly. She understood Kravik's customs. Juveniles gave their first broken tooth to those they trusted most, those who had shown them protection and care. It was sacred. The cub chirped again, bumping his enormous head against her shoulder with surprising gentleness. Scylla looked down at the tooth, still stained with violet blood, razor-sharp, even broken, a piece of one of the galaxy's most feared predators. She closed her fingers around it. "Thank you, Kren," she whispered. "I'll treasure it." 3 months later, during the Galactic Council's annual summit, representatives from 200 species gathered in the Grand Amphitheater. Humanity was presenting their case for deeper integration into galactic society, a proposal many species opposed, citing human recklessness and emotional volatility. Dr. Scylla Chen stood at the podium, and around her neck, suspended on a simple titanium chain, hung a black crystalline tooth. Matriarch Vess rose from the Kravik's delegation, her presence commanding immediate silence. "The Kraviks," she announced, her voice carrying across the chamber, "pledge our alliance to humanity. We have witnessed their courage, their compassion, and their refusal to see barriers where others see only fear. Chen wore my son's tooth, not as a trophy, but as a promise, and humanity keeps its promises." The chamber erupted into debate. But the tide had shifted, because in that moment, every species present understood. If humans could earn the trust of a predator, cub, perhaps they could be trusted with much more. And Scylla smiled, one hand touching the tooth at her throat, remembering a frightened juvenile who had seen past her size and fragility to the kindness underneath, just as she had seen past his claws and fangs to the child within.